You were out in front of this, had Trey Lance going number 3 to the 49ers. Why'd you feel like that he is the best fit for San Francisco?
I just think that, you look at his downfield accuracy, you look at what he does, you look at the fact that I think he's a little bit more polished than someone like Mac Jones, and just the desperation that John Lynch has shown in trying to get a franchise quarterback. I think that, he's probably the third or fourth best quarterback in this class. I spoke with Randy Mueller, who was the 2000 NFL Executive of the Year on my podcast on Friday. He believes Justin Fields might have the highest ceiling of any player in this draft class. But you look at Trey Lance, you look at what he was able to do at North Dakota State, and I know he only played one game this year, but what he did at his pro day, I think, turned a lot of heads, and I think that he's an ideal fit for Kyle Shanahan's offense because of his quick reads, his accuracy, and the fact that he can make every throw on the route tree. So, if I were sitting in San Francisco, I would probably be leaning towards Justin Fields, but I think if you're talking scheme fit in Kyle Shanahan's offense, I think that Trey Lance winds up being the pick.
You said Trey Lance, in your mind, is the most polished quarterback in this draft, even, or at least more than, I should say, Mac Jones, excuse me. I'm curious because a lot of the evaluations reread as a guy that Trey Lance, who probably more than any other quarterback in this draft, will need a year to sit. If that's the case, do you think that Jimmy G will stay with the 49ers through 2021? Or is this a guy where even if you do draft Trey Lance number 3, you think he can play relatively early on in 2021?
I think that you need to play him, right? I think
Ooh,
the
okay.
days of, quarterbacks carrying a clipboard for a year or two are long gone. And, when you start to look at the teams that are going to need quarterbacks, well, let's just say that the Denver Broncos move up and they wind up taking Justin Fields, or if Fields falls to them at number 9. There are still teams in this league that need quarterbacks. And I think that New England is certainly a team to watch for a potential trade with Jimmy Garoppolo. Bill Belichick knows what he has in him. You just look around. Quarterback play is so scarce in this league that if the 49ers can get a second round pick or a first round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo, I think he'll wind up getting moved. And I just don't understand why you would trade 4 picks to go up, including 2 first rounders, to go
Mm-hmm.
up to number 3 and take a quarterback, but then not deal Jimmy Garoppolo to recoup some of those assets. So I would be pretty shocked if Jimmy Garoppolo is still a 49er come Friday evening and even by Thursday afternoon.
That is fascinating. I like that, Matt, because like you said, everything you read, it's mostly, this guy needs to sit, you need to sit. Here you are saying, let's get this guy in the field. Let's see what he can do, make some moves here. So I'm curious if that's the case, right? If you were correct, Trey Lance goes number 3 to the 49ers. How far in your mind can Mac Jones fall? Because to your point, you hear now, especially you see reports, the Patriots now, if Justin Fields doesn't go number 3, that could be a team to watch a trade up for. You hear, interest of Justin Fields. I feel like outside of the 49ers, you don't hear many teams interested in Mac Jones. Could this be a precipitous fall in your mind if he doesn't go number 3?
Yes. Because I think that when you talk to people around the league, I think that he's one of these guys that he needs a clean pocket to operate from. He's not a guy that can make all the throws on the run. And you just look at the offense that he had the benefit of playing in with Najee Harris in the backfield, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, 2 of the, better field stretchers, not only in this class, but maybe in the last couple of drafts, and a clean pocket every down. You're not going to be in any situation like that in the NFL. And I think that when you look at Mac Jones, there's been a lot of talk of him moving up boards, and certainly he's been in the conversation for the number 3 pick. But a couple of personnel people who I really trust, they tell me that they have a third-round grade on Mac Jones, that he probably shouldn't be a top 5, a top 10 pick, and maybe not even a first-round choice. So I just think that the jury is very much still out on Mac Jones as a quarterback. And if you're taking him in the top 5 or top 10, you better have a pretty complete offense around him if you're going to help him reach his ceiling, because the feeling inside the league is that the moment Mac Jones walks in the building, that's as good as he's ever going to be.
What led to think this all of a sudden Mac Jones, the 49ers movement that really started as soon as the 49ers made that move up?
I think it was his performance in the Senior Bowl. I think that going to the Senior Bowl and kind of standing out there and what he did at Alabama, and of course there's this, hero worship of Nick Saban and Nick Saban quarterbacks. I think that really generated a lot of the buzz. But once you got to the pro days and once you saw what Justin Fields was able to do, once you saw, how effortless Trey Lance made some of those throws look during his pro day workout, that's where I think those 2 guys kind of separated to where they should have been on quarterback boards inside the league, and evaluators and analysts might have jumped the gun a bit on Mac Jones without getting a fuller and complete picture of what those other quarterbacks have the chance to be.